Today on The Form, we've got a jam-packed show to get through. We'll be taking you to the River City for the feature, the Whanganui Guineas for the 3-year-olds. Then we head down south to Riccarton, taking a look at their open features and another very nice 3-year-old race on their program. On Sunday, we look forward to Te Aroha, the Pakaranga Hunt Cup Day, taking a look at the 2 jumps features. Then we head across the Tasman, the Group 1 Memsy to look forward to out of Caulfield, and a feature from Rosehill. We'll have Nick Burney along to talk about the action and our usual segments as well, including those best bets. So let's get into it. Warm welcome into The Form, where, as you just heard, we've got so much to get through on the show. Domestic racing to the fore, and as I introduce our usual team in studio, Leith Innes and Aidan Rodley, looking forward to the Group 1 across the Tasman too, Leith.
Yeah, honestly, it's a great race day, and coming off the Foxbridge the other day, still buzzing a bit about Alabama Lass.
Yeah, exactly, and we're getting a little bit more because obviously you and I were at Ellerslie this morning, saw Well Written and Lupo Solitario and Tuxedo and She's a Dealer and some good horses. We're getting ready for Pricey Plate plus the Sunline Bars in a couple of weeks. 47 horses galloping at Ellerslie this morning, so it was really good to see those. 3-year-olds to the fore for mine this weekend, both at Whanganui, and a really good 3-year-old race at Riccarton as well, so that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, and you mentioned Riccarton, so this time on The Form we welcome in Matt Cross. And Matt, looking forward to having your input from there.
Yeah, looking forward to being on the show with you guys. No Bevan Sweeney today. Bevan actually rang me when Alabama Lass was halfway up the straight in the Foxbridge, and he said, I need your help Thursday. What are you doing Thursday morning? I just can't bear sitting there and wearing it from Leith Innes and Aidan Rodley. But I'll give him one thing though. He put them on the line. He didn't get it right this time, but it's our job to have opinions. She was great though, Alabama Lass, but Bevan will be back next week.
He certainly will be, and we'll see how he's smiling on that occasion. Right, let's take a look at the feature. It is out of the River City. Aidan, you'll be on track this weekend. What's happening as far as the weather and track goes?
Weather doesn't actually look too bad, only about 3 mil between now and Saturday, but the damage has been done, and obviously a heavy 10 at Whanganui. That means normally they put the outside running rail up and they use it there at Whanganui. So I can't see it being too much different. Obviously we've got some good horses going around at this meeting as well, but your conditions will be testing.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the market for the listed guineas on the program here, and you can see Perfect Chaos come up favourite at $3.40 from Out of the Blue, Sophia at $4.50. Then everything else, and not a lot in this market. Midnight Dart $13 into 9, so the money for the Lisa ladder runner there. It's a bit of a local bully, perhaps. That's how the market's shaping up, team. What about the speed in the feature?
Yeah, obviously Singletary gets Willie Pin on this week, and from that draw, I thought probably the natural leader in the race from barrier 1, Rod. Be interesting by this time of day if the inside's still going to be all right. So, look, you got Oh Baby, Perfect Chaos are going to land to that midfield sort of spot. Yeah,
obviously they've pushed forward with the trials with Singletary. I think that's a fair idea of what they're going to do there. Honourable's interesting from outside gate. They've got options there. Do they go forward or back? Out of the Blue probably comes back with a little bit. There's not a huge amount of speed.
No, Sophia's going to get a nice run just behind the leaders.
Okay, so Stephen Marsh has a couple of chances in the race too. Let's get out to the track and hear from him. Aidan just asked him how both his charges are going.
Both going really well. They've both trolled up very good. Sophia, trolled up on quite a wet track. Against the older horse, I thought she was very good. Her last campaign was good. She was a black type performer. She won her first 2 and she's won at Whanganui, so yeah, she goes down. And we've got a good bit of confidence, and hopefully the track sort of slowly improves from that 10.
What about her as a transition from 2 to 3? How's she gone?
Gone really well. She's very well put together filly by Drossin. She's she's always shown us plenty, and I like the fact that she's been there before. She's had the overnight trip there, and her work's been good.
Okay, take a little bit of the mystery out of Perfect Chaos. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, she's her worst run to date's been a third. She's probably could have won a race by now, and she's been beaten from some nice horses and some good fields. Didn't get all luck at Ellerslie last start. She was out a little bit wide, and it was a bit of a shambles, that race. But I thought her trial was really nice as well. She goes into it good and forward. She's galloped on Tuesday morning. I thought her work was good. I think they both go down horses that probably can get through a wet enough sort of a track, but if it came back to that sort of 8 would be ideal.
So 2 very good chances, and he's right about Sophia Leith. I mean, she's been down there, she broke her maiden, and she's got that ability.
Yeah, obviously, Whanganui can be horses for courses as well, and like Marshy said, she's travelled down there before. Barrier 2, you know what you're going to get. She's going to just bang, put herself just in behind the speed if they don't go too hard. She's going to be hard to beat on a sort of off-track as well.
Yeah, and she's got form around good horses. She beat home Sweetest Thing and Incandescent in one of those wins. Sweetest Thing's come out and run second in a Manawa size Produce Stake. Incandescent has been the stakes winner. And I think in the other one, beat home Summer Schemer and Incandescent. So there's really nice form. When she was third in the Group 3 Starway Stakes, she beat home Out of the Blue. So there's a nice form line there as well. And on Perfect Chaos, second to System of Play last preparation, really nice trial. Was only beaten ahead in that trial. That was encouraging, right?
Yeah, and obviously last start at Alizé, she was caught wide, she got run off on the bend, and she stuck on well. So look, she's had 1 trial under her belt. She'd be super fit for this week.
Yeah, let's have a look at that trial you mentioned, Aidan. She was very good here, and she beats home 2 race rivals in stand-up comedy and Pōwhiri.
Yep, obviously the other 2 are horses who are on the up as well. Certainly they've got an opinion of Pōwhiri, give it a chance, and stand-up comedy probably, you know, we're in a little bit of the unknown there. But the trial was okay from a horse who's bringing okay race form. It's how, obviously, heard from Stephen there around looking at a slow track rather than the heavy. They just don't know. And so maybe Sophia just has that advantage, having been, you know, a race winner at Whanganui and yeah, those things. It's not the easiest race to work out.
Okay, well, from there, we are going to have a look at one of Lisa Ladder's runner. Midnight Dart has certainly moved in this market. Let's hear from Lisa Ladder. Justin just asked her, well, she must have been very rapt with that placing in the rider.
Yeah, definitely. We give him a freshen up, and look, he just missed. He went a really honest race, and he's gone forward in the right direction since, just hoping for a nice draw.
And the filly Platinum La Danse, look, she didn't beat great opposition there in the maiden, but gee, she was impressive doing it.
Yeah, look, she's out of a mare that I trained, Platinum Command, that won 10 races in the wet. And she'll handle a wet track, so providing they get a bit of rain over there, that's what we're hoping, and she deserves to take her place, and she's trained on super.
Yeah, and this is her in the rider stakes. You just heard there, she obviously handles the wet, and there's money for her already.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit surprised she's not actually opened as favourite. Form's been good, she's hard fit. Lisa's won this race last year as well. Look, Barrier 9's probably a little bit of a negative, but she gets back a little bit anyway.
Yep, absolutely. So beat home a couple of rivals in that rider as well. So beat home Single Terry, who's 7th, but has gone on and trialled really nicely since, and Oh Baby, who's then gone to Taupo and probably not been that good in a fillies race, although was unlucky in saying that as well. But Midnight Date, okay, did go around in a Karaka Million. If you're taking the line through the Karaka Million form, and I don't think you really can, being different track conditions, Out of the Blue finished midfield in that race and was a lot better.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Out of the Blue. Let's hear from Sam Burgesson, and Aidan just asked him what he made of the fresh up run.
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort. It was a little bit of a strange one. We thought he'd really liked the track, and must have sort of seemed to think he sort of really struggled around, especially the bend there, and struggled to sort of balance himself up and really hit the line. And saying that, we're still pleased with the run. He should take good improvement from it, and looking forward to getting him down there to Whanganui. It looks like it'll be a pretty testing track. But he's a tough little fella, and he's come on with the run well.
Okay, we'd like to hear that. Obviously, the trial leading in was good too. What's the transition been like for him, into a 3-year-old?
Yeah, he's not the biggest. He hasn't grown a lot, but he's pretty genuine. He seems to really enjoy his work here. He's pretty hardy, and he sort of gets on with the job. So. He'll need to on Saturday. I'd say it looks like, looking at the forecast and the track conditions, it could be a bit of a tough one for him. But we think he's found a nice race he can be competitive in.
He certainly looks that way, Nathan. I know you love that trial, and he still will take massive benefit out of that fresh up run.
Yeah, the trial was superb. Looking at the run at Taupo, actually Honourable was pretty good. It was down on the inside, which wasn't really the place to be, and does beat home Out of the Blue. But I thought both of their runs were really good. Yeah, if you put your faith in this trial, the trial said he's coming up really nicely. As you heard from Stephen there, he's a tough horse.
And he's going in with a run under his belt, which Stephen's horses are both fresh up too.
Okay, well, let's look at the form in the race. Matt, what's your opinion? Did you find one on top?
Yeah, I've gone with Honourable. I reckon it's at a really tidy price. And that wide barrier draw, if they are starting to get to the outside, may mean that Joe Doyle's going to have options. A horse who had plenty of luck at Ruakaka, it was just all bad, and behind She's No Saint. Had he got that luck, he finishes a lot closer to one of the star performers of August and She's No Saint. And I loved its work through the line at Taupo the other day. And look, the horse that beat it, Fortunato, looks a really progressive type. So if they're coming to the outside in the early part of the day, I'd be more confident, but I think he's a horse on the up.
I think you can be confident they're going to come to the outside, and obviously when you take into account just the extra work that horse has done along the inside of Taupo, then real respect. It's my second pick. I've gone for Out of the Blue to turn the tables just based on the trial and what we've seen. I just think this horse will be the quick improver, and we know the abilities there.
Yeah, I'm going for Perfect Chaos just by default. Probably if the track's not too bad by race 5, if it happens to rain on the day, I want to change my bet to Midnight Dart.
Okay.
He's probably the one they will have to beat.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a look at the feature, the listed Whanganui Guineas. Now we're taking you to the Open over the 2,000 metres here, or 2,040. Benefactor at $3.50. Favourite Subtle Image is at $4 in this market. Pick of the litter at $5, and Boomtown Boy sitting there at $6. So look, it's a pretty open affair. Obviously a staying trip here too. So speed in the race, team?
Yeah, look, there's only 8 runners. There's actually no speed at all. I thought probably Pick of the Litter from Barrier 2 probably looks the natural leader. Benefactor, they probably ride him a little bit off the speed, and Boomtime Boy, home track sort of, home track to Adrian Bull, but they might sort of be a little bit positive.
There's just no speed, you know. There is an opportunity for a jockey to take this race by the scruff of the neck, but
Bilardo Boy?
Well, maybe. You know,
Maybe.
It's interesting seeing him getting up and trip, but Benefactor was right there last time out. I agree. I thought Pick of the Litter was the default leader in a race that's devoid of speed.
Okay, well, let's get the inside word from Lisa Latta around Bilardo Boy first, and Justin just asked her what she's made of his recent runs.
Yeah, look, definitely disappointing. Look, he's we've decided to step him up to the 2,000 and put a claimer on again, and Tom Wigram. Look, he probably needs to find form again, or he's got a really good home with one of the owners at the bottom of the South Island.
And at the other extreme, I guess, Benefactor, you've got her ticket a lot beautifully. She's in very good form.
Yeah, she is, and look, she won't matter what the track gets to. She seems to go on anything, and probably rode her a touch out of her comfort zone on Saturday, and she had a really good blow afterwards.
She's racing so well at the moment as Benefactor, and she's right. I mean, Bilardo Boy definitely just needs to improve. And last week she was saying, Aidan, that, you know, she thought maybe she'd had him right on spot again. Yeah,
certainly in that, she's spoken to Bevan leading into that race, and it sounded like she was really confident. There is a decent swing, 4.5 kilograms from last week. Obviously chased home Benefactor, and there's, 3 lengths between them on a 4.5 length margin, so maybe that gives Bilardo Boy, especially the step up in distance. But I thought Benefactor, just on what we've seen in the last couple of starts, she's going really well. Mare in form, handles a wet track, so I was just happy to default there.
Okay.
Look, I'm with Boomtime Boy. He's raced good on the course before. Kelly gets on, 54 kilos. Blinkers come off, but definitely thinking winning a not an overly strong race.
Yeah.
I really wanted to find an excuse for Bilardo Boy to win. I think his closing 200 at Hastings last time suggests that if he does handle the trip, he can race okay, but it's just whether his head's still in the game. Benefactor was just so dominant, though, at Otaki last time out. Goes up 1.5 kilos, but with that dominant performance, hard to see it beaten here.
With the Lisa Latta runners, now we're moving to the Open over the sprint trip here, and again, good field. This we've got Honey Badger at the top of the book at $3.80, Amazing Sun at $4.80 as well, Bell's Bows at $7.50, Belzoni and Faravello, they are all kept safe in the market. Over the 1,200 metres, so who injects the speed, Leith?
Look, obviously Bell's Bows trialled up really well. It's had 2 trials under its belt, probably a little bit overs there in the market, and from Barrier 1, look, I need to see race 6 is going to be interesting where they are, but look, Honey Badger, she's had one start at Whanganui for a win as well, so she maps to get a nice run behind her, sort of Turn the Ace, it probably leads from the outside.
Yeah, I thought Turn the Ace goes forward, and then you've got Faravello. Amend in the first race for about a year. They've gone forward at the trials and has looked good, and we know Amend's got the ability as well, but I thought Turn the Ace had the map advantage here.
Okay, so that's how we think the horses will settle in the race. Now let's hear from Tony Pike. He's got Honey Badger, and Aidan just asked how she's come through that last start win.
Yeah, she's bounced through that race really well. Obviously very testing track conditions at Taranaki, which she appreciates, but obviously fresh up, she was getting pretty tired late, but it was a good tough effort. She obviously had a very quiet week post that, and she's bounced through the race well. So obviously she's a very good wet track mare. We're probably going to start running out of those tracks shortly going forward. So she'll head to Whanganui on Saturday for the open sprint, and yeah, she'll be very competitive again.
It really does look a nice fit for her down there, and it's a little bit of rain coming as well, it sounds, for the lower North Island. What's your thoughts about how this race fits in?
Yeah, it's sort of looked at this race and thought, being Whanganui at this time of the year, it's still pretty heavy down there, and there is a bit of rain forecast on Friday and Saturday morning. So, if that arrives, it's only going to bring her into a more favoured position.
Yeah, it certainly will. But I mean, at New Plymouth, there was no rain on the day, and she got through it really nicely.
Yeah, she did. She got exposed early. She sort of hit the front sort of a long way from home, and she was tough to the line. Like halfway down the straight, she looked like she was going to tire, but she was. She just loves that heavy 10 sort of tracks.
Yeah, but she's obviously going well. Nice to get that from Tony, that she's come through it so well and prepared to his liking leading into this one. So she's going to be hard to beat again.
She certainly is. Is that your opinion as well, Matt, or are you looking elsewhere in the race?
I think Belzoni's going to be a benefactor of having the trip away here to Riccarton. He was able to handle those wet tracks in behind a couple of horses who are progressive, both Shawshank and Wire Rope, and I think he might get a decent sort of trip just in behind them. So I think he's a great top 3 play here, Belzoni. Look for him to bounce off his trip down to Canterbury.
For mine, obviously, I'm going to use the Open Eki Cup as my benchmark in this, and then to some degree the Winter Cup as well. And on both occasions, Susie Gordon's pair were superb. I've been a big fan of Prioress, who's bounced out of a Tauranga win to an Open Eki Cup win against the pattern of that race, and then ran really well in the Winter Cup for third. However, Turn the Ace comes in 4.5 kilograms better on that Open Eki Cup when there's only a head between them, and 3.5 kilograms better on the Winter Cup run. So just the horse who's the leader, who handles a wet track, who's going well, I was with Turn the Ace.
Yeah, I'm with Honey Badger. Pikey's happy how she's pulled up after that last win. She extreme on a wet track. She just loves it. She swims, and she's had one start at Whanganui for a win.
Okay, so that's what the team are liking in the open sprint. Now we need something else on the program to follow. Matt, who was yours?
My best of the rests was just a shot away, race number 2 there. I just had a bit of a brain blank there, team. But, yeah, look, we'll just go with the Lisa Latter team. I think they'll have a good day. Okay, no need to change the graphic for my one either, Matt. I'm the same one as well. Obviously, that debut run for second was superb, was only narrowly beaten, was a trial winner leading in, so it looks hard to beat.
Well, he's carrying a bit of weight.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make too much difference.
Look, his last 2 runs have been good, though. He looks like he's due a win. I've gone with race 1, all in black. This horse at $3.40. I'm going to make it my best bet of the week, actually. Just get on at $3.40. He's going to be a class above.
Trials have been really good.
Last time they gave it a quiet trial on the poly track, but before that it was super at Te Aroha.
Chips in on all on black, and that takes us to a break here on the form. Don't go far. More action coming up. Welcome back into the form. We've got our black bookers for you this week. Leith, who caught the eye for you?
Look, there's probably the whole field. You could put a little dot next to them. Look, Texas Cowboy won the race. He had a nice run. He was on speed. Take nothing away from the winner, but there was probably 3 or 4 you want to just follow here. You've got Shambo Jack out in the bourbon colours, some Seven Marsh colours. Genie outside. Coniston's run the fastest sections in the race. And you go hard back to the inside, the yellow hat, Miss Magnetica, never had a run the whole way up the straight. So, as usually, Photius was good for second.
Even sure,
there's probably
okay.
going to be 10 winners come out of that race.
Yeah.
A number of horses you want to black book in the race.
Okay, I'm going to take you to Te Rapa last week as well, and this to the 75 mile, where Dromi racing out of his grade, I thought was superb. Runs again the quickest closing sectionals of the race, and a race that probably favoured those on speed a little bit. The other horse who was pretty good here was Afterglow, who's out wider, but I thought Dromi was terrific. Goes up, has a real lunge at them, but just misses on the line.
I'm going to go with Grouse and stick with this mare who hasn't had a lot of luck on the poly at Riccarton going back last week. She's ran the best splits all around, coming from off the pace, the start prior. She had no luck whatsoever, still picked herself up, ran the quickest last 200. She's ready to win a race. Grouse, I think there's a Pearl Series mile coming up for her, so fillies and mares race is really going to suit her. She's a winner in waiting. The market generally doesn't respect her, so when she wins, you're going to get a nice price.
And I'll take you to Te Aroha. Margaret Falconer's runner here, Wedding Bell. She was well off the pace in the running, and then she's come down the outside where the eventual winner has too, and I thought she was really nice to the line. Good closing sectionals, only having her 4th race day start too, so has a bit of upside. Wedding Bell for me out of Te Aroha, and those are our black bookers for the week. Texas Cowboy, but quite a handful out of that race for Leith, Jerome for Aidan, Grouse and Wedding Bell. From there, that takes us to our second domestic meeting on Saturday. We take you down to the Garden City, yes, racing at Riccarton, and we've got a really good meeting to look forward to, cracking open races on the program and a really nice 3-year-old race, Matt. So what are we getting as far as the track conditions go?
Well, as of Thursday morning, it's raining here currently. We had a significant amount of rain overnight, so it's going to dampen that track. I think it's meant to clear mid-Friday and be okay through to Saturday. So there's going to be a fair amount of give in it. Rails out quite a way, 8 metres to the 1,000, then 11 metres to the winning post. So we'll get a bit of a gauge early on. We've got a 14 and a couple of 1,200 metre races to start the day as to how we play those maps and race patterns later on. But it's going to be testing enough, I would imagine. Won't be bottomless, but certainly wet.
Okay, well, we are going to take a look at one of those later races. Race 7 on the card, the Open Mile, where Cognoscenti at $4.50, Graham John at $6.50, a Shawshank at that price too, and then you're getting out to Rosso at $7.50, but certainly very open. What about the speed? So what are we thinking here for the mile?
Yeah, obviously, Graham John from Barrier 4 looks the natural leader. Maybe a little bit of speed, Shaking Stevens. For Rosso, he's fresh up. He comes into this race fresh with no trial under his belt. They'll probably just ride him a little bit neutral, I thought, from the inside gate. Yeah,
Shawshank's the other real key speed influence in this race, who will probably be there. They may even look to cross on Shawshank potentially.
Yeah, I think they might have a go with Shaking Stevens as well. It was a big run from that horse in the Winter Cup. He was first up after 182 days. That was first up in a pretty sort of rich sort of race on a testing track. Wide barrier draw. Look, Kylie Williams will take the ride. It's her final day of riding there on Saturday at Riccarton as well. Looks one of a couple of very strong chances for her late in the day. But with the 54, expect that Shawshank will roll across. Whether Graham John wants to get himself into a ruckus being on a wet track's another question. But I had Shawshank, Shaking Stevens settling right on the pace.
Okay, like it. So that's how the team thinks they'll settle in the race. Now let's hear from Sam Burgesson. He's got the 2-pronged attack, and Aidan asked him, they trialled against each other. What did he think?
Yeah, both happy with them. Probably both a little bit short of their best. A bit of a query about the rain as well, but a nice kick-off point for them both. They should sneak in with nice light weights there, and hoping they can, show a bit of cheek fresh and then sort of get them up over trip in the interim.
Because that trial was down south, Matt. What did you make of it?
But as Sam said there, there's just that little bit of a question mark around horses who maybe are looking for better ground, and obviously it's going to be a long spring with plenty of racing ahead of them. I don't think they'll be quite dialed in. Most of those horses at Timaru had a pretty decent sort of head out there. So look, I'm sticking away from the Te Aroha team, but I'll be keeping them in the book as improvers.
Okay, fair enough. Any thoughts on the two?
Yeah, well, obviously, Michael's on 54 kilos. I mean, if the rain keeps coming in, by the sounds of it, they might even be scratchings on the morning of, maybe, or
it'd be interesting.
It's hard to back them this week.
Well, one thing about Cognoscenti, he's a horse who's won 2 of 5 at Riccarton. He's going well, gets it on 54 kilograms. So I'd be surprised if they scratch, because they need to get him moving. And here's one right at Riccarton where he does go well, and he's at the bottom of the weight. So it might be an okay way for him. Court of Appeal, probably more the same, because she's wanting to get up to a middle distance at some point during her preparation. So
probably the same with Rosso as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay, so if we are steering clear of the Te Aroha runners, Matt, who's the one for you?
I think it's Shaking Stevens second up. You go back and have a look at his run in the Winter Cup. It was a super training effort from Steph Faulkner to get him so ready. Wide barrier draw means he can roll across, sit outside of Shawshank, dictate the pace and keep on rolling. So looking for Kylie Williams to sign off on her career on a winning note. Nice each way price around Shaking Stevens.
Yeah, look, I was going to go Graham John to the sort of the tracks sort of turn to that heavy 9. So, like too much. Probably doesn't want it real heavy, sort of 10 heavy 9. But Sima Moxawan, he gets down to 58 kilos, gets a nice gate of barrier 5. Just maps to sit in just on the speed.
Yeah, I landed on Shawshank here. Just a horse who's won 3 of the last 4, gets forward, will be on speed, gets 54 kilograms. I thought the last start win in open company on the last day of the festival was really good. And just echoing what Matt said there, you know, this is Kylie Williams' last day of riding. It would be great to see her go out on a winning note. She's been such a great contributor to riding in Canterbury.
Oh, absolutely. It would be so apt. I hope she can pick up not just one, but multiple wins on the program. Right, let's have a look now at race number 6, the Open over the 1,000 metres. So a real sprint here. Trobriand is your 310 favourite. Just pushing out a point though from $3 because there's money for Moving Melody here. 5s into 420. Insatiable on that third line of betting with the Mr. Fortuitous too at $5. Obviously 1,000 metres, Leith, you're thinking there's a bit of pace in the race? Yeah,
there is, Pip. Obviously there's probably a number of leaders. Mr. Fortress from gate 9 is going to have to do a little bit of, you know, he's very fast, but he's going to have to do a bit of work from gate 9. Express Coupe on the inside. Moving Melody was an interesting runner, I thought. First start for Terry Ray and showed a lot of speed at the trials.
Yeah, there's enough speed in this race, isn't there? There's a few horses who want to press forward. Even out wider on Unstoppable. It'd be interesting to just see what they do with the horse who's obviously performed well in the north. There's a few former North Islanders here. Interesting Moving Melody. The trial looked pretty good, Lee.
Yeah, really good. Obviously used to be trained by Bruce Wallace and Grant Coxley, and now with Terry Ray.
I reckon that La Ballinera will have a look at the start as well. Gets a 4 kilo claimer on down to 50 kilos. I would doubt that she'll be going back. Actually meets Mr. Fortress about 4.5 kilograms better off. A little bit of a concern around some of these horses on that track condition. Mr. Fortress is definitely one of them. Didn't really pick his feet up on the Oamaru ground 3 starts ago. La Ballinera is a little bit of a question. The horses that aren't a question mark are Express Coupe, Moving Melody and even Natural Momentum. And we haven't even mentioned probably the best horse in the race, Mystic Park, up the top of the book.
You know, we certainly haven't. There's some key contenders in it, but Insatiable and Trobriand are both the two of those. Let's hear from Sam Burgess and how he thinks they're going.
Yeah, both should be nice and sharp over the 1,000 metres. Come up a strong enough race, having a quick look at the noms. But both trialled nicely leading in. Insatiable was probably a little bit more relaxed, but we took both of them last week to Ashburton for a bit of a gallop on a good surface. So they're forward and ready to go and should give good cheek over the 1,000 metres.
And they certainly are forward, and there was that trial that they come out of as well, where, you know, Moving Melody won that, but there was pretty good runs behind. I thought Trobriand hit the line strong, Aidan.
Yeah, Trobriand never goes a bad race, does he? Obviously he's stable down there, and from barrier 2, Sam Colladon, he's got enough weight though, 59.5 kilos. I thought it's probably just enough fresh up.
Yeah, 56, isn't it, for Trobriand, 59.5 Insatiable. Both of them go well. Obviously, the course record for Insatiable is superb, and he is fast. Trobriand obviously handles Riccarton as well. Both of these trials are okay. Nice for Moving Melody. She's run some good races in the north as well, formerly in the care, like you say, in the Coxley Wallace yard. But interesting to hear from Sam there about them taking advantage of getting to Ashburton, using a better track and just honing their fitness a little bit. So, you know, there's a little bit more to it than just the trials that we've seen, Matt. They've done this with good benefit in the past too, haven't they, Tiako?
Well, Trobriand's got decent form as well last preparation too, Aidan, with a placing in behind Toahaka, who then went on to win a Southern Alps Challenger. I think Insatiable is probably a horse who wants to sit back and just hope for a little bit of luck first up. I know that Opie was on last time when he rode him. He just was patient, let him burst that last 200. Some concern around the weight for him. And Trobriand obviously started to just get a little bit of confidence at the back end of his last preparation as well, so should bounce off that. And just on Mystic Park, he's the best horse in the race, no doubt, but 1,000 metres with 62 kilos. He's obviously looking for the Howden Insurance Mile and the TAB Mile. Love him as a horse, but probably can't see him winning, particularly if that track's wet on Saturday.
Yeah, quite a few things against him. So who's the one for you, Leith?
I'm going to go Moving Melody. You go back for its form, and she hasn't raced on a heavy track since she won her first race back in 2024, 1st of June. Tristan Mooley rode her that day as well. So, look, I think she was overs at the opening price and well found in the market, and I think she'll get through the heavy ground this week.
She's run some really good races. She ran fourth in the Westbury Classic when it was worth $600,000 on Karaka Millions Night a year and a half ago. So she's got the ability. I'm taken by what we've seen from Troy Brienne last preparation. A horse who does look to be on the move. I can't go in this with a lot of conviction. I think it's a really even race, but with the 56, I thought Troy Brienne was probably the one.
Much like yourself, Aidan, I think it's that time of year where horses are building fitness, track maybe not suiting half of the field. It's going to be a case for Mr. Fortress. He either is a poly specialist who won't go in the ground, or he's just a good horse. If he comes out, wins from the draw on that sort of surface, then we can start having the conversation around him warranting a start in some of our better sprinting races. Happy to see if that's the case for him on Saturday. Maybe just a little top 3, top 4 play as well on La Ballanera. With the 50 kilos, she can run a race.
Okay, like that. Maybe a same race multi with those two. Now we take you to a very good 3-year-old race on the program. We've got the Champagne Stakes winner in here. We've also got the Welcome Stakes winner of Safar at $2.20, Enchantment at $6, and then Final Time, who's placed them both at $7. Out to Glamour Extreme at $8.50. So a really good little 3-year-old race as we look ahead to the likes of some really good features upcoming.
Yeah, obviously it's a sort of lead up to the Kennedy Bell Stakes in 2 weeks' time. So it's drawn a really nice field. Look, obviously been early in the day. Hopefully the track's not too bad. Enchantment's been good at the trial. Some Barrier 1 probably looks a natural leader. Glamour Extreme, this horse was super its first up start. Went in with no trial and paid $29 and can see it sort of improving off that first up win.
Yeah, and beat home Spiller, who then came out and won at Riccarton on the first day of the festival. So their form looks rock solid. It really is so far the only colt against what really does look like a dress rehearsal for a Canterbury Bell.
Just a bit of a query around him, I think, guys, on his trial. I would have loved to have seen him hunt the line in his trial a lot better than what he did. Trialled him behind Mad Max and wasn't really pushed, but he let the inside horse past him up the straight and didn't really fight on that much. Had he come out and won that trial by 2 or 3 lengths, you'd come in here. He's the bet of the weekend, absolutely. But I'm not with him. I don't think he's as big a chance as what the market suggests. Look, being a colt against the fillies, absolutely you have to respect him, but wanted to see more from his trial.
Fair enough. And then obviously Safar for Sam Burgessen's stable. Aidan just asked him if these two at the top were clashed before.
Yeah. So they've clashed down there at Riccarton as 2-year-olds. So they both come back really well. Again, the forecast is a little bit of a worry. The tracks would be reasonable at the moment, but with the rain forecast, it's sort of just how testing it does get. But if it is a good track, it looks like a nice race to kick them both on. And Enchantment's had plenty of experience down the chute there, and Zafar's obviously had a race down there as a 2-year-old as well. And hopefully they can run well and can press on to nicer targets later on in the season.
How forward are they both?
Yeah, so Zafar's had one trial and the trip away to Ashburton, and similar to Enchantment, it's only 1,000 metres and they've done plenty of work. Zafar started up here, Enchantment's just stayed down south, but excited to see them out there on Saturday, and they've both potentially got black type assignments following this.
Yeah, obviously black type quality, the pair of them. What are you expecting this weekend?
Yeah, I think on paper Zafar looks a really competitive chance. He had the wood over Enchantment last time round as a 2-year-old, and in saying that she's certainly capable of running a cheeky race. She's not overly big, but she's a sharp filly, and the 1,000 metres really suits her.
He's got 2 very big chances, Leith. Is one of those your on-top selection?
I had Zafar on top, but just hearing that Enchantment maybe from Barrier 1 on that off-track. Like you said, Matt, I thought his trial was just okay. Obviously there's a bit of improvement to come, and it's definitely not his main sort of... It's fresh up. He's got 58 kilos, so I'm going to go off him and I'm going to go for Final Time. I think if they go hard enough up front, Warren Kennedy on, senior righty, Final Time will handle the track. I think she can win on Saturday.
Well, I think you boys are being a little bit harsh on that trial. I like what we saw from Zafar. Now, look into that trial. The horse who won it was Mad Max, who's going to start a pretty dominant favourite on the undercard. Second horse is Sweetest Thing, who's run second in a Group 1 1 or 2 size produce stake, and came out and won a trial earlier on this week in good style. This horse would have come out of that 3rd place and gone to Ashburton, had a good gallop. I just think there's a class act of this race, and while there's a really good strong depth of fillies here, I was pretty keen to be with Zafar, and I'm going into this with a bit of confidence as well.
Well, we'll agree to disagree, I think, Aidan. I'm going to go with the Southern filly in Glamour Extreme. I love what I saw from this horse at Oamaru. She didn't just win, she dominated from barrier number 14. She's proven on heavy ground, and you could only imagine she's going to progress off that run. As Pip mentioned, she hadn't had any public runs. $8.50, great shopping for her. Zafar, absolutely. I'm not potting the horse, but I just think in terms of if you're a big punter wanting to have your 1,000 on him, you're wanting to see more than what you did in that trial.
Absolutely, and it'd be great for Ebony Turner to pick up a race like that going forward. Right, what about something else on the program to follow?
Sorry, Pip. Mad Max is the one for me. Look, he opened at $3.30. He's into $2.70. He'll be winning race 5, I think, 1,000 metres. Michael McNabb on, ex-Northern horse as well. Andrew Forsman, now trained with Terry Ray. Just keep on loading, $2.70 is a gift.
Yep, brings that Zafar form line. So I'm with Mad Max as well. I was taken by the trial. We know the abilities there. Speaking to Terry, she's really happy with the horse going into it. And when Michael Guerini was at the track at Ellerslie this morning, I think they're pretty happy to see this horse land in the south safely, and we'll give them a great shout.
Yeah, In Limbo is going to be an interesting horse in that. First up from Australia, taking on Mad Max, but I do agree with you. Race 1, Rockman, bouncing off a very strong run. Really hunted the line in behind Bundy last time out. Bundy obviously went on to win again, got a hunch, was second in that. It's been a subsequent winner too. Handles heavy going early in the day. Big strong horse, Rockman, race 1, number 3.
Okay, like that, Rockman, there you go. And that does complete our look at Riccarton. Now we turn our attention to Sunday's action out of Te Aroha. We've got the Pakatanga Hunt Cup Day. Aidan, weather and track-wise, any better there?
Yeah, it is better. At the moment, it's a soft 7, and it doesn't look like a lot of rain until Saturday. There's 10 mil on Saturday in the forecast I'm looking at, so that may have a bearing on whether we remain in that soft range. Probably not. We'll probably creep into the heavy with that amount of rain. But, yeah, good day's racing there on Pakatanga Hunt Cup Day.
And let's have a look at those jump features. We'll start with the hurdle, race number 2 on the program. Kick on, $3 favourite here from Rock Up Ralph at $4.40. Dictations at $6, along with Squire, the Bellevore and Jake. So pretty open affair, team. What's your thoughts on the race, and who'd you find on top, Leith?
Look, I've got Jake just on top. 2 starts ago, obviously had that flat run last week at Waikato. He was only just beaten by Rock Up Ralph. Meets same sort of weight. He's got 65. 4th and barrier 2 looks like a good each way playing the race.
He'll be a lot sharper for that run at Te Rapa last week on the flat too. I'm going to stick with Kick On. I made him my best last time out, and he duly obliged for me. So I'm going to stay there. I just like the way that he's going to be progressing into this. I just think he's a good progressive hurdler who's well capable of winning this.
And he could go on his winning way as well, Aidan. If he wins this, he's still at a very competitive rating where he can win kind of 2, 3, maybe even 4 hurdle races without having to be taxed too much in terms of the weight department. I guess the only worry is that he doesn't have the experience of some others, but we're talking Kevin Myers.
We certainly are. And speaking of, let's take a look now at the steeplechase, race number 6 on the program here. The Valley Toyota Pakatanga Hunt Cup. A happy star for Kevin Myers is your $2 favourite, pushing out from $1.95. Ned wins at $5.50. Brucey at that quote too. And then you've got Smug at $6.50, who's still paying a pretty good price with what he brings in, Leith.
Yeah, look, obviously he had a really hard run last time in the down south, Brucey, but you know what you're going to get. He's well weighted at 65 kilos as well.
Yep, and obviously you go back into his Wellington steeples when it's a benchmark quality going into this race as well, in steeplechases at least.
Yeah, it really is. So who's the one for you guys on top?
Happy Star, like what I saw last Sunday at Hara. He bolted in. Kevin Myers touched $2 is short enough, but look, he's got to step up another 400 metres, but I think he should be able to do that on his ear this week.
How many more gears did he have in store?
Well, that's the thing, you know he's going to maybe getting fit for the Northern, so he could be just having a nice look around Te Aroha, but I think he's just too good for them.
I reckon the same. He's just back to the Happy Star of old. He just seems to have that little zest about him that he used to have, and I love what I saw from him at Hawara as well. You don't bolt in like that and not be competitive in a race like this. So he's on top for me, Happy Star. How about you, Matt?
I just wonder if in a tougher race you might just see him maybe a little bit vulnerable, as we've seen from him, Happy Star, particularly when he was carrying those big weights in some of those hurdle races. He might just get away with it here. As you mentioned, he was so dominant last time. But I'll tell you one horse you don't want to get into a scrap with is Brucey. What about his run in the Grand National behind Lord Spencer? Never ever threw the towel in, and I reckon he could have gone another lap as well. I think that Billy Marshall will be up there putting the pressure on Happy Star and just seeing how tough he is. Happy to go head to head with you fellas here
Nice.
in the Puckeranga Hunt Cup.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe just take the Quinella and see how it plays out. That's a look at the jumps racing. Now we take you to one of the good races on the flat, the Open here over the mile, where Astoria Brook is your 2.45 favourite, clearly from Florin at $6, Florin, and then Joshua Brown at $7, Sunset Boulevard at $9.50, along with Rudyard and Solidifies. So Astoria Brook really are the one up the top of the book here. What about the
I
speed
think
of the
the
race?
market's got it right there. Astoria Brook just maps to get a nice run just off. Pace is probably going to be a little bit overrated from Barrier 1. Obviously, thought maybe Solidify Rudyard would be handy as well, but you know, Joshua Brown's going to get back. Can't Hunter probably over a mile's going to get back a bit as well.
Yeah, I think they'll try and be as positive as they can with Can't Hunter, but I agree. I think the overrated gets handy. Rudyard will want to be there as well and Solidify. So I thought, especially if you do inject Can't Hunter into it, then there's enough speed to make it a genuinely run race.
Okay, well, let's take a look at Astoria Brook. Last time winning at Te Aroha. This is back in August, and this is what she can do. She's a very good little mare, Leith, and looks like a suitable race for her.
Yeah, look, a lovely ride by Michael as well. They didn't go overly hard. It turned into a bit of a sprint home, but what was seen with her, she just loves that Te Aroha track. Obviously, she's going to Te Aroha, but she's just placed at the weights.
Yeah.
55.5 kilos. She deserves to be that $2.45 favourite, I thought.
Yeah, Rudyard does come in a kilogram better, but she just goes so well. The one thing, obviously, she loves Te Aroha. I think this is 4 from 4 in her winning this day, and she's gone past Rudyard all right. The swing of the weights in Rudyard's got to be a chance, especially as the horse will land on speed, but the way she's going, Astoria Brook, she handles a wet track, and I thought she was the one to beat again too.
Yes, it sounds like you both were there, Leith.
Yeah, definitely, Pip. 55.5 kilos. A good gate. Probably she won't want the rain to turn up. I don't think she's a real sort of heavy sort of 10 horse, but have to be on at $2.45.
Yeah, she's won 4 of 6, but I agree that maybe on the better side. But like, I don't think if it is going to be heavy, it's going to be on the better side of heavy, you'd think. So, yeah, I'm with her as well. Astoria Brook on top.
Are you disagreeing this time, Matt, or are you going to stick with the boys?
No, sell the car, sell the jet ski. Leith can sell his nice blue blazer as well. Put it on Astoria Brook. I think it'll start close to the $2, to be fair. She's a good mare. She's a really good mare. Looking forward to seeing her. And look, if a few of those shorties get up in the early stages of the day, the bookies, I'm sure, will be running scared on her.
Oh, they certainly will be, and that's a look at the Open. But what about something else, Leith? Can we fill up early or later
You can
race?
fill up early. Race 5, Pip, Dragonstone. Very unlucky last start, probably the start before that as well. Barrier 1 this week for Donna Logan. Maiden 1400, just great each way chance in race 5.
I was going to go against you in that race. I'm going to the bottom of the book. 3-year-old filly. I know it's a little bit different, but Allendale's been super at the trials. Really like what I've seen.
Michael McNabb again. He's in for a good
Got to
week.
stick with them. Got to stick with them. That Te Aroha trial was super and very similar to your best of the weekend. All in Gold went to the poly and had a nice little hit out last time.
What about you, Matt?
I'm going Gin and Bear for the Gin fans. I think this is a really nice little filly. This is one its last 2. Gets in with a really low weight. Jonas Suzuka takes off the 3 kilos down to about 51.5. Barrier number 1. Zippy filly over the sprinting trip and loves heavy ground as well. So Gin and Bear the best of the rest.
There you go, that's hopefully given you a nice fill-up out of Te Aroha. From there, it's time for our trial files. Who was the one for you, Leith, that you found?
Pilates, Pip. Look, she was beaten favourite first start. Sardi beat her that day and Deep Pursuit was second. And this is here in the Waikato stud colours. Michael McNabb on. Look, she's down to race on the 16th of September, so you're going to have to wait for a couple more weeks yet. But look, she was just doing a nice little canter here, and she'll be winning a maiden race very soon.
I'm picking you just came out of your Pilates class and just, this one will do me. Leith, anyhow. You get a good price for that jacket too. I like that jacket. Really nice that Matt's trying to sell for you. I was going with this horse on the outside, a horse called Body Heart. I think the time was just maybe a little bit quick on the website, but Geez, I just like the way this horse stretches, especially from here. Just look at the way this horse really stretches out. I think there's a quick fire win waiting for this horse for the foots.
We've seen this trial twice already today, I think we might have. No, this is in fact the other trial. This is the trial after she was second behind Mad Max and beats Far Home. Sweetest thing. This horse now with Team Te Aroha, Mark Walker and Sam Burgess. She's obviously heading toward the 1,000 guineas. She's big, she's strong, she's Group 1 place last preparation as well. I would say that she is a live chance of progressing through to the mile and being very competitive in the big one.
Absolutely, those are some very good trial files this week. Pilates, Bodhi Hart and Sweetest Thing. Make sure you note them down. Hopefully you've found you some winners in waiting. From there, that does complete all of our New Zealand action. We're taking you to a break, but off the other side, we concentrate in on the Australians action, including the Group 1 Menzie.
Autumn Glow moving in. She's only been beaten once, the great mare, in the Queen Elizabeth behind Sir Delius. Will she and She's a Alibi clash again later in the King Charles and Everest Day? There's so many options there. Two superstars in a first-up showdown here at Randwick in the Wing Stakes. Gates are back, they're off. Right behind now is She's a Alibi, who's getting right up behind. So She's a Alibi only one length off Autumn Glow and down on the inside running rail. Here comes Autumn Glow. She throws down the gauntlet to Midnight Dynamite. Two further back to She's a Alibi, and Gringotts running on, but Autumn Glow's broken clear here in the Wing Stakes, and she's back in a great way. Autumn Glow by 2. She's a Alibi really cut into the margin. Well, the showdown was on, and Autumn Glow's come out on top.
How good was the Wink Stakes? And that's my opportunity to bring in Australian specialist and Nick Burney. Good morning to you, Nick. Firstly, before we talk about the upcoming Group 1 this weekend, how good was that? We got the race we wanted, but Autumn Glow just too good.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Pip, guys, everyone watching on in. Excited to make my debut here on the form. Hopefully I can steer the punters into a couple of winners. But, of course, last week we had a big crowd there. It's not even springtime, and we got to see the two superstars clash. Autumn Glow, look, she was so impressive. And I think why punters love her so much is James McDonald, with her adaptability, he can just put her wherever he wants to put her in the race. She's got that acceleration. She can drop the field between the 400 to the 200. So where does she go now? Does she drop back to the 1,200 metres, maybe for an Everest, or does she go on that King Charles path for the 1,600 metres? We'll find out soon. Probably in the next week, Chris Waller did say the Breton Brigade, She's an Alibi. She was fantastic. How she just wanted to savage the line there late. I know J-Mac eased up slightly on Autumn Glow, but you still had to like how she wanted to find the line. Even the likes of Aliana out the back there, where does she go to now? She probably will be benefit for the run. So all in all, they ran very fast time, and we can follow that race with a lot of confidence moving forward.
Oh, we absolutely can. And now we've got another cracking race to look forward to, the Group 1 Menzie Stakes out of Caulfield. Let's take a look at the market firstly, because there's been a bit of change here. Jimmy Star at $4.40 on the drift from $3.80. Cosmic Crusaders there at 5s, and by what there, $8 into $5.50. Couple of others moving out. Treasure the Moment though with money too. So what do you make of this market here, Nick?
Yeah, especially a big move there for Bayvark, and I can understand there, especially with the map. The punters are starting to latch on there. Look, Angel Capital's a big drifter. Ben Mellon takes the riding duty there instead of James McDonald, which I suppose a lot of people would have thought. But Ben Mellon does have a good affiliation with Angel Capital. But just out the back here there, it was over the 1,200 metres, and I think he was very well fancied on the day, but it was always going to play out this from a map perspective. His run was huge. He got into an awkward spot. They ran blistering time against the day. It rated through the roof on the program. Ninja just was the horse that was in the right spot. But Angel Capital, I loved his last few bounds. He runs the third fastest final 200-metre split of the meeting in a high-pressure race. It was just a little bit run off his feet. So getting out to the 1,400 metres, you isolate all his 1,400-metre runs or figures. That's where he's at his best. And I've got no doubt Chris Waller will have him primed for Saturday.
Yeah, certainly Chris will have him ready for this race, having that run under his belt 2 weeks ago. Yeah, interesting, the market. If J-Mac was on Angel Capital, Nick, I'd say would see a reverse in the price. I'd say that Angel Capital would be starting at nearly a $4 favourite.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's the big factor here, why the market's maybe a little bit soft. But I suspect when the big punters get involved on Saturday, look, they'll know that Ben Mellon's got the great affiliation with this horse, and I've got him on top. Look, it's dead set D-Day. This is the last time because he's chewed up a lot of punters' money, but I'll go one more time. He just needs that little bit of luck. But I just think this has been the plan a long way out. He was great this time last year in an Everest, and I always thought he was 12 months away, this horse, and he needs that Group 1 on his CV, obviously in the breeding barn for some time later on. But this is his chance. He gets to the outside. He can let rip down the Caulfield 1,400 metres. And I do respect Bayvark, though, especially with those map favours up on top of the speed.
Yeah, certainly an interesting market when you got Chris Wallace. He's got 3 colts in the race, all going to be potential stallions. Look, I've just gone back to Jimmy Starr. Look, obviously, fresh up, he's great. The course, he's had 7 starts for 5 wins. There's not much between them, but I thought if they go hard enough up front, Jimmy Starr will be getting home late.
Okay, so that's what the guys are liking in the Group 1. So don't forget, Seize the Day goes around the race prior to the McNeil Stakes. But we now take you to Rose Hill to have a look at the Domenico for the Group 3s, where Blue Door is at $2.15, in from $2.30. You've got Guest House at $4.80, and then War Woven at $5.50. That's how the market's shaping up. Let's take you to Blue Door in the Missile Stakes. In the Rosebud. What did you make of this, Nick?
Oh, she was huge this day. She'd only had the one trial leading into this, and she led at a genuine tempo here. But I loved how she accelerated very hard. And just over the final 200 metres, even the final 100 metres, she just peaked on her effort there. And Chili Girl just got over the top. But they've run fast time against the day. I love the margin spread as well. So the 2 fillies did come to the fore. But the big thing about Saturday is she's the one with the run under the belt, where a lot of these colts are first up, and they've got bigger targets probably down the line here. And the Rose Hill 1,100 metre shoot is you want to be up on top of the speed. She can control the race. She drops 1.5 kilos off that effort. I think she's going to take a lot of running down. And she comes in on a really strong there last start figure as well. So I just think that only the one trial leading in, even though there was a pattern from her first debut run, I think she probably just half needed it as a sectional set over that final 100 metres. So I think she'll be cherry ripe. And as I said before, that Rose Hill 1,100 metre shoot, when they're up on top of the speed, they just fight on like caged lions. So she'll be one of my better bets on the program.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the other Bjorn Baker train runner, War Woven. Look, he was favourite for the slip of the source. From barrier 8, he's going to have to do a little bit of work, but if he can map to sort of sit, just get a nice sit just outside the leader, I think he can be winning this race on Saturday.
Okay, I like that. Then what about the up-and-coming as well here at Group 3 level? Savagram, he's a colt, of course, by Savabil out of a Kiwi mare as well, and Graham at the $4.20 favouritism there. Then it gets pretty open and behind as well. So what are your thoughts on this race, Nick?
I'm going to have something each way on Outspan here. He's both of his peak figures have come at Rosehill Gardens. He was just run off his feet over the 1,100 metres first up, but I loved his work past the post. He can settle that little bit closer, and at the $9.50 each way, I'll have something on Outspan here.
Yeah, I thought Savagram, I know it's a big step up from Canterbury midweek maiden race, but look, this horse is really bred. The Chittocks still have a little share in the horse as well. From barrier 3 with 53 kilos on, Tim Clark, $4.20, I'll have to be on him in this race.
There you go, the key. We will get you to stay there as well, Nick, because we're going to do our bank builders, where we like to try and fill up the TAB account nice and early. You're the guest, you get the honours. What are you following at Rose Hill?
Yeah, I like this segment. I'm going to go with race 4, number 5, Avista. I've got a bit of a love affair with this horse, but I think she's a really nice type. She can make it 5 on the bounce. She's on the way through. I think we're getting around that $3.20 mark, but we can back her early in the day and build that bank for later on in the program.
Yeah, look, all in black, Tony Pike train runner, race 1 at Whanganui, currently still at $3.40, so Pikey hasn't unleashed as yet, but it's a good ownership group. My old boss, Jim Gibson, this year in the horse as well.
Yeah, I was with Bellish Boy in the second out of Riccarton.
Get in as well, race number 1. I think a great top 3 play at least, Rockman. He'll relish the conditions. Good form through the Grand National Festival last time out. So Rockman, first of the day, top 3.
And those are your bank builders for the week. Thanks very much to Nick too for his time. We're taking you to a break now. Don't go far. Our best bets coming up. welcome back into the form. Before we get you our best bets and those track work tips, you've got to see who's gracing the race form cover, and it is Stephen Marsh's charge in the Whanganui Guineas. So fair. See if she can pick up some black type this weekend. And speaking of picking up, pick up your race form as well for all of the form. From there, let's get you out to the track and get some tips.
We've got one Friday, Aidan. I think it'll be very competitive around here on the poly track, Emmy Dazzler.
Look, I'll go the synthetic this Friday, Jamaican Boy, first time on the poly. Not really a poly horse, but looks a weakish race. I think he'll be thereabouts. Good each way bet.
Yeah, I thought unmistakable. She trialled up good last preparation. She's trialled up very good this time. Maiden 12 Whanganui. Thought she looks hard to beat.
I'll take a soft option and go for the maiden 1340 with just a shot away.
Honourable.
Oh, baby with luck.
Subtle Image if he lines up at Whanganui.
Hopefully, if the track stays well down there at Riccarton, I think we've got a nice team down there. Bellish Boy in the maiden, he's trialled up really nicely leading in, so hoping he can start his spring off on the right account.
I'm probably going to go the maiden 14 at Te Aroha, Paparazzi.
We've only got one runner this weekend, Perrin Sangway, and if it rains, he really brings him into the race. Worked really well here Tuesday morning, and in a fresh state, he'll sprint well fresh.
Just the one on Sunday at Te Aroha in the 75, 1150, Gin and Bearish.
Joshua Brown in is it the third? 1600. Hopefully he'll do all right.
Sunday 65-14. What's done is done. She's had strung 3 good runs together, 2 seconds against 2 decent horses, and then one very well last start at Rotorua. So right-handed won't be a problem, and I think should be a good chance.
I'll take you to Te Aroha on Sunday, give you She's a Surprise. She goes around in 65-14. She's a bit unlucky last start at Te Rapa, so with the rain around, if she gets a little bit of luck, I think she can bounce back into winning form.
Yeah, I think probably Windtalker. She's got good form on the poly, and she seems to be sort of a bit of a poly specialist, so she's probably our bet for the day.
Only got a couple of runners in. One's consistent and one's not, so I'll go with the consistent one, Sebastian Co.
There are your tips for the week. Right from there, it's time for our best bets. And Nick, you're up first. Who are we following this time?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Rosehill Race 8, number 6, Blue Door. She's got the all-important fitness edge. Rosehill 1100-metre profile. She'll be too slick for them. I think she can get the cash. Race 8, number 6, Blue Door for me, guys.
All on black, race 1 at Whanganui. Tony Pike, train runner, still $3.40. Look, it is drawn barrier 8, but like this trial here was just a nice little day out on the poly track. You got to go back before this at Te Rapa when he was super on the inside Te Rapa trial track.
I found it a really difficult weekend, so just prefacing, I'm going to go with Safar though. I thought it was a class act of the 3-year-old race at Riccarton. Would be a horse who's going to bounce out of that trial and really improve. So happy to take the odds boost on Safar.
I'm going to stick with Riccarton as well and Team Te Akau. Sam Burgesson has already given us the tip around Bellish Boy. Lobs into a very winnable race. Doesn't look to be a lot of depth in terms of the exposed form there. He's got a bit of action, this horse. I think he'll be able to plough through a sort of a wet enough track, and even if he doesn't handle it, he probably gets away with it on ability alone. Lovely work through the line. McNabb on race 2, number 1, Bellish Boy. $1.80 will do.
And I'm taking you to Caulfield, one of the features, Shadavar. She's a lovely mare, that one back fresh. I think she can make it 2 from 2 this preparation at Caulfield, and still paying a nice price with the Damien Lane in the saddle. She's drawn the 1. Those are our best bets for the week. Thanks to all of the team for joining us this week. Thank you very much to you too. Nick, we'll catch you back next week. Enjoy all of the action.